Wiruga Kona, Nenkwe yetu, EVOB Voice of the Bay. We are back once again with our talk show on channel 260 DSTV yako Apo Ekaya, the Voice of the Bay with myself, Percy M. Good evening and welcome once again. Tonight, our focus is on Ward 52. Ward 52 is in dispatch. The councillor of that ward is Councillor Francois Swanepoel. My guest is Mr. or Councillor Retief Odendaal, who is the caucus leader of the Democratic Alliance in the Nelson Mandela Bay municipality. We will also be joined by Councillor of Ward 41, Councillor Luyanda Lau, and the leadership of Bayland Informal Settlement. And in our last segment, the Executive Mayor of Nelson Mandela Bay will also join us in our show. But for now, let's welcome Councillor Retief Odendaal of the Democratic Alliance, who is also the caucus leader. Good evening and welcome, Councillor Retief Odendaal.
Good evening, Percy, and good evening to the viewers. It's a privilege being here. I'm sure that I'm here because when I was previously a mayor, I dealt very closely with the community of Bayland, and they're very close to my heart.
Is it?
Very much so.
We have also extended our invitation even to the councillor of the ward, Ward 52, Councillor Swanepoel. Can you tell us about his whereabouts?
No, unfortunately, Franz was unavailable tonight. He's got a meeting that he had to attend, so he could not be at our engagement here. But because I've had this very close relationship with Bayland, he said to me, you know, can I come in his stead? And I think you also initially extended the invite to me, so hopefully that's good enough.
But let's talk about service delivery related issues, because we have seen even during your tenure as the Executive Mayor of Nelson Mandela Bay, we have seen a number of service delivery protests in that ward. That is Ward 52, which Bayland Informal Settlement forms part of that ward. But there is an outcry. There is an outcry because the people of Bayland, they are claiming to be part of the ward. That is Ward 52. Let's start first there. Do you agree with them?
I think we need to first understand what Bayland is. It's the biggest informal settlement in Nelson Mandela Bay. I went there the first time November last year when there was a service delivery protest, and people were angry because they were saying that they have been forgotten by Nelson Mandela Bay. Right there and then, I said, come and show me. And I walked with that community into Bayland, and what I found there was the worst serviced informal settlement in Nelson Mandela Bay that I've ever seen, and it's the biggest one.
Yeah.
There was only 2 taps that were working for 5,000 people. There were no chemical toilets. They had no electricity connection, not even informal connections, because there were absolutely no
I'm very interested in what you are saying, but I just want you to respond to my question, Councillor Odendaal. Do you agree with the residents of Bayland when they claim that they form part of
Yes,
Ward
of course
52?
they're part of Ward 52.
Yeah.
And they need to be serviced. And that is where my journey started with the ward, with Bayland in Ward 52. Between the time that they actually had that service delivery protest, and I went to Bayland first, and the time I was ousted as a mayor, there were not one service delivery protest by that community afterwards. You know why? Because I visited them on a monthly basis to go and look at the progress that we were making in that community. Now, I want to just say tonight that our informal settlements in Nelson Mandela Bay, many of them have not been adequately serviced over the last couple of years, and they continue not to be adequately serviced. Notwithstanding the fact that hundreds of millions of rands were sent back by this metro to national government because they
Councillor Retief Odendaal, you are talking about yourself.
I'm talking about the metro.
No.
Not just my regime.
But I don't hear you talking about the councillor of that ward Where is the councillor of that ward to service
But
the
that
people
councillor
of
was there
Bayland?
with me last week, and he goes there on at least once a week. You must remember that that community is also on the periphery of Ward 52. So I don't know if they have an issue with the councillor. He goes with me to that community when I'm there, and they must deal with that issue if there are issues. But I want to speak about the services in that community that is non-existent and that we've improved.
Does the councillor, who is the mayor or who represents the Democratic Alliance, does he look after them in that informal settlement?
I know Frans, and he looks after everyone that is in his community.
Including the people of
Yes, absolutely,
Bayland.
because he has to service that community. He is the one that is approached when there are projects in that community. But let's talk about the progress that's been made there over the last 8 months, unless you don't want to discuss that, because there's been progress made in that community when we were there. I was there on a monthly basis, and I monitored that service delivery that was in.
Councillor Odendaal, we have invited you to update or inform us about your involvement in that ward.
So
Tell us.
Can I talk about it? So as I was saying, the first time I came there, I found a community that was very poorly serviced. And then I committed our government and our municipality to roll out services. And what did we commit? We committed more standpipes. We committed more, basic sanitation, which is chemical toilets. And it's not a dignified way of providing sanitation, but it's at least something. And then we committed that we will make sure that we start with the planning for human settlements, for a human settlements project, as well as provide the community with funding to start with the first phase of electrification. We brought over 300 chemical toilets to that community. We put in about 15 standpipes, and we finished basically with the planning for the human settlements, future human settlements projects, and all of the different earth numbers were allocated to the communities. And then we allocated an amount of 3.5 million rand in the adjustments budget. 3.5 million rand in the adjustments budget for the first phase of electrification in Bayland. Now, this is where the problem comes, because that project started more or less towards the fourth quarter in the last financial year. And although there were poles erected, 500 poles erected in that community, the project stopped. And not all of the money was spent.
What happened?
We don't know what has happened to the rest of the money. We were told that the 3.5 million rand was used to erect the poles. But if you divide
how many poles?
500 poles through 3.5 million rand, it gives you 7,000 rand a pole. So that means that the money was taken from that project and directed elsewhere. Also, they weren't on the budget for electrification for the new financial year. Now, that could have just been an oversight. I don't know. But you cannot start with the project and then not continue. So tomorrow, there's actually a motion at council to try and get council to agree to identify additional budget so that the project can be commenced with again. Because that community really needs to be electrified. You cannot raise children in an environment where you don't even have access to electricity. So, and it is a project that was committed and a project that was adopted by council.
Councillor Retief Odendaal, it's a pity that we are less than a minute before we go for a commercial break. But after the commercial break, I'm very much interested to talk about the councillor or the office of the councillor and the people of Bayland, because they have a number of concerns, especially about the access to information but we will go for a commercial break, and then we'll do our interview again after that. Let's go for a commercial break. Sinamkele kwakho kwinkqubo yethu iVOB Voice of the Bay. I am still with the Councillor of Democratic Alliance, who is also the caucus leader of the DA in the Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality, Councillor Retief Odendaal. Councillor Retief Odendaal, before we go for a commercial break, my interest now is between the office of the councillor, Councillor Swanepoel, and the people of Bayland, because they are complaining that they are not informed about the daily operations of that councillor together with the people of Bayland. One, no one from the 10 ward committee members, no one is coming from Bayland. That is number one. Their area is not represented amongst the 10 sectors that work very closely with the councillor. Secondly, in all what is happening in that ward, that is Ward 52, they are not employed in those programs. In those programs that are run with the office of the councillor, EPWP programs, they don't get such opportunities to form part of those programs. Thirdly, they are not informed. They know nothing about the ward. Lastly, the councillor doesn't accept them or doesn't recognize
That's a very dangerous statement to make, yes. Percy. You can't say a councillor doesn't accept. The councillor is not here to represent. How can you make such a statement?
This is what they are saying. This is what they are saying.
No. So I think we must make it very, very clear that a community like Bayland has been, as I've said here, has been neglected by the municipality over the last couple of years. And I think that the municipality has got a duty to make sure that we provide them with better services. But the problem with Bayland is, the problem with the Bayland, yes, I believe so, because he calls me to assist him. And he has been continuously asking me when I was a mayor to provide them with better services.
When they talk about their councillor, they are talking an opposite story of what you are saying.
But we'll hear what the community has got to say. And I have addressed some of the issues that the community has said. But here's the thing. One must understand that Bayland is on the periphery of that ward. And as such, they're already at a distinct disadvantage. And that is why, when it comes to elections, we need to make sure that we delimitate that ward, demarcate that ward, so that Bayland forms front and center a part of that ward. I think that the demarcation, unfortunately, has dealt them a raw deal because they were not prioritized by the Metro. I don't think the problem is just the councillor. And if there's a problem with the councillor, we must deal with that, and the community must deal with it. But the reality is, it is because in Nelson Mandela Bay, informal settlements are not priority for this administration. We have seen it. We have seen how hundreds of millions of rands are sent back to Treasury, how you do not get basic sanitation in human settlements, how electrification is not a top priority. The reality here is that it's not just unique to Bayland. It happens all over in other wards as well. And what makes this community different is because it's such a big city.
Councillor Odendaal, I am not disputing what you are saying about the informal settlements, not Bayland per se. I am not disputing that. But these people have a serious problem with the councillor. And I know that you have a good relationship with them. Even by the time you were an executive mayor, you have a good relationship with them as an individual. But their problem is with the mayor. Not the mayor, with the councillor of the ward.
I think you'll find that the problem is also with the mayor because he hasn't been to that community. But what I will tell you is that if there is a demonstrable a problem there, I will commit myself to resolve it because it is a DA ward. And I want my DA councillors to work closely with community. I want each and every member of that is in a DA ward, whether they voted for the DA or not, to know that they will be serviced by the ward councillor and by the councillors of the Democratic Alliance that supports that councillor. Because you must also remember...
Were you ever informed about their relationship with the council?
No, there has been issues raised.
You are aware about that?
I have given...
You are aware about that?
Yes, I'm aware of that. And I've given the councillor marching orders pertaining to what I expect of him within that community, and also what I expect of the ward committee members. Now, I can't instruct the ward committee members, but I did say they must represent each and every constituent and sector within that ward, the entire ward. And that is the way it should be in all communities. And unfortunately, you sometimes get this. Just in other wards, we've got similar problems where there's a disjuncture and how the ward has been demarcated. But that's no excuse. Fix the problem, address the issues, and make sure that everybody feels valued and that their interests are represented. That is what our democracy is all about. So I will commit myself. If there's issues, I will resolve those issues. I will work alongside the councillor to make sure that this community, as vulnerable as they are...
When did you last hear about this? About this sour relationship between...
I was with the ward councillor there about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, when there was a service delivery protest and we addressed the community. I'm almost nowadays, almost on a weekly conversation via WhatsApp with some of the community leaders because there is now a renewed need to get better service delivery.
When did you last hear about this bad relationship between that office and the residents or community member of Bayland?
As I say, I was there in the community addressing probably a 400 strong meeting together with the ward councillor 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago?
Yes.
And then, when did you last meet with the councillor to talk about their concerns?
Well,
about his office.
I had a meeting with France on last week Thursday, if I remember correctly. I was in dispatch. It could be Wednesday. I don't know. But so, I mean, yes, I was there.
Did you talk at length with what is happening at
Yes, absolutely. As I provide guidance to all the ward councillors as leader of the opposition and caucus leader of the DA. So I'm pretty sure that he will provide the necessary services and commitment to that community.
I'm not talking about the services now, because these people...
You are saying there's a broken trust relationship between the community and the council. Is that what you're saying?
As a leader of the caucus of the Democratic Alliance, you know that there is an action that you were supposed to take.
Yes.
Did you do that?
What action?
Any form of action that will make Councillor Swanepoel to change his behavior towards the people of Bayland.
I spoke to Councillor Swanepoel and I told him what I expect him and the ward committee to do. And as far as I know, he will do it. And I will make sure that he will do it. Otherwise, we will take action against Councillor Swanepoel, like I would deal with any other councillor that do not fulfill their duty. And this community, as I've said, is very close to my heart, specifically because they've been neglected in the past. So if he doesn't service them, I will take action against them.
And then when did you last meet with the leadership of Bayland?
Well, I think we had about an engagement about 2 weeks ago, but we've stayed in contact via social media, via WhatsApp.
Did you share your conversations with them while you were with the councillor?
I didn't provide them feedback about my meeting with France last week. But, 2 weeks ago, I did indicate to them what I expect of the councillor and what I told him. Yeah. But you can ask them. They are here.
Tomorrow you will be having a council meeting.
Yes.
These people, they said last time in the council meeting, because I understand this is your last council meeting for this year, is that so?
For the year, yeah.
Yeah. Their item was part of the agenda, but it was at the end. I think it was number 12.
It was tabled as a motion of exigency,
Yeah.
and the Speaker didn't want to allow any exigent motion. So we retabled it.
Okay.
And now it's a formal motion that is on the agenda tomorrow.
So it forms part of the agenda.
It is in the agenda. If you open the agenda, I think it is it's 2.8 in the last section of the agenda, but it's a formal motion.
Councillor Retief Odendaal, thank you very much for making time.
It's always a privilege being here, Percy, and thank you very much for what you're doing.
Jabulela. Baya danki. Sabaleka singasevenkileni emveni kwevenkile siza kuhlangana nenkokheli kwakunye nokhansila wako Ward 41 abamelwane. Welcome once again to your favorite talk show on Channel 260, that is your VOB, Voice of the Bay, with myself, Percy M. Now I am joined by one community leader from Bayland Informal Settlement, Mr. Mdiniso Mziyanda, and together with their neighboring councillor, Councillor of Ward 41, Councillor Luyanda Malau. Councillor, welcome to our show, and you, Mr. Mdiniso.
Thank you very much for Percy. Thanks for the opportunity for me to be here, and also
Yes.
to the Imbomakapa viewers.
Yes. I think, Mr. Mdiniso, you were listening to Councillor Retief Odendaal, and he has also apologized on behalf of Councillor Swanepoel, who is committed elsewhere within ward committee commitments. I accepted his apology, but there are a number of issues that you are always complaining about, especially with the office of the councillor, Councillor Swanepoel. He admitted that he is aware about your complaints about the councillor, but he met the councillor, and yet he strongly believes that the councillor will change his behavior. Is there any change so far?
But basically, there is no change. I don't want to lie to you, and then I want to try to explain this thing. There's a big difference between former mayor and the councillor. We talk about the councillor, the one that is responsible for Ward 52. Yes, Percy, we have a big problem with our councillor, which means Mr. Swanepoel.
Councillor Swanepoel.
Yes, Councillor Swanepoel. We have, like, I'm going to mention just only three things, different things. As you mentioned, that there is EPWP, there is proof of address, there is
What committee?
a report, is what committee. Then if we have a problem like water or whatever, if we have a problem in terms of a proof of address, we always try to engage to our councillor. You don't want to listen anything. We go to our neighbor, which means Councillor Lau. He always help us, the hands is open for us. Like, for instance, if we go to our councillor, Swanepoel, to ask a proof of address, he said to us, before he do a proof of address, we must go to the police station to make an affidavit. After that affidavit, we need to go back to his offices and then to make that affidavit, our proof of address. But we said to him, we don't understand this thing, but if we want a proof of address to our neighbor, which means Councillor Lau, There is no need to go to the police station. We just knock to his office. They always help us without the proof, without affidavit from the police.
Okay.
And the second issue is that we have a problem. There is no one there in Bayland as a ward committee. No one. We don't have a ward committee there in Bayland. EPW.
Why are you not represented?
Because we follow all the procedures. They say we must apply for that. We try our best to apply it. Nothing, no one called.
So as much as you form part of Ward 52, your area or unit is no sector is. In fact, no one forms part of those sectors.
Yes, Papis.
Okay.
Yes. I want to mention only
Okay.
the last one. I'm going to make an example, Papis. There is this thing of EPWP. I received a call. They said we must organize 20 people for that EPWP. And then we organized the 20 people. Swanepoel said that we must send those people there by dispatch. We sent the people, 20 people. The people who were there on 8 o'clock till 3:30. Where's the councillor? Nowhere to find.
No one attended.
No one attended them. We organized the transport to take our people back to Bayland. 2 weeks after, we received a call again to Mr. Vaso. He tried to help us. Said, guys, I can't do anything. Organize only 7 people to go to Utenig to sign the contract of EPWP. When we went there at Utenig, we saw 21 people with Swanepoel. He organized the baki for their people.
To transport them.
They transport them. But he knows that there is these 20 people he's supposed to go and sign the contract.
So there were some form of transport provision for your people
No.
who are coming from Bayland.
No.
Okay, fine. Allow me to talk to Councillor Lau. Councillor Lau, in terms of daily operations in your office, how does their plight your daily operations?
Yes, once again, thank you very much, Percy, for the opportunity. Maybe I must again clarify it. I'm the ward councillor from Ward 41. My name is Luyanda. My surname is Lau. I know we might make the mistake of saying Malau. Malau, that's something else.
Sorry for that.
Yeah, however, but Percy, it really makes a big impact. Ward 41 is almost service, almost 3 wards. It's Ward 41, it's Ward 52, which is Bayland area, and some close areas of Ward 36.
That is the
Ward
area
36.
of what do we see or DSA extension?
No, Marikana, Hillside Marikana.
Okay.
Otherwise, we have good work relations with Councillor Kanyesamani, because some other people comes from work and they are passing the office. So for them to pass Ward 41 office and go to Katwesi.
But their plight, how does it
now,
affect?
their plight is affecting because, firstly, he's talking about the simple thing, proof of address. We always get a minimal stationery from municipality, and for 1 ward, it takes time to get the stationery. And you'll find there are people from Bayland that are popping out every day. One needs copies, needs proof of address, EPWP. And remember, those are human beings. I cannot chase them away. I always even tell the office staff that, guys, whoever that comes from, be it from whatever political party, as the office of the councillor, we need to assist them. And it's also the mandate that we get to my political party that we are there for our communities. What I must mention again, some year ago when we get into council, I did have a meeting with Franz Swanepoel when I got these challenges about proof of address and stuff, and I went to his office at council chamber, town hall, dispatch, trying to find a way, how do we work and to try and assist. Because having people from Bayland using not less than 30 rand a return to go and seek for proof of address, at least that is unfair for people that are unemployed, you see. So I made an arrangement to say, okay, informally, from 8 boxes that you get from the stationery, why can't you give me 3? And I know that permanently people are going there. You can even, if you have some representatives that can help specific your people, I do have space in my office.
How did he respond?
No, he said no, he cannot do that. He
Why?
really cannot do that. I must look at my ward. He's still engaging with people of Bayland. He tried. But I further even advised him to say, why don't we have at least a satellite office like you can have a container inside there. You know what he said to me? No, Lau, you want me dead. I cannot go and sit the whole day in that particular area. Those people can kill me. And I found out something politically to say the area of black people that you seem to say, when you see them, you see people that they can kill you. You see, even whether circumstances can be, as a ward councillor, you need to go and face your people. That's what I believe in. So I heard all what Councillor Odendal have said.
Okay.
But
Let's
yeah.
just put a pause for now. We will talk more about this issue of Bayland just after the commercial ad break. Masinamkele kwakho kwinkqubo yethu iVoice of the Bay with Percy. I am still with the councillor of Ward 41, Councillor Luyanda Lau. Kwakunye naye Umdeniso Mziyanda, who is a community leader at Bayland. Again, guys, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm still going to give you an opportunity to conclude what you were saying before the ad break, Councillor Lau.
Yes, let me conclude by saying, Percy, what leaders are saying is true. There is no relationship. As the person that deals with Bayland community every day, and they are coming with the same complaints that the councillor is neglecting them, and obviously I've said it previously that he said it openly, you will never go there. That can qualify as what Odendal have said. When he goes there, he always goes. He's been forced by their caucus leader to go there. And as a councillor, you have a day-to-day work that you need to do to interact with your community. For an example, the simple thing of electricity. I think part of my area, there are bilaterals with Bayland in terms of dwelling electrification. Although it was an illegal process, it was just their arrangement. I was not part of that arrangement. And yet there was almost a big war between Bayland people and Ward 41. And I had to intervene. And the councillor was not there.
Okay.
Councillor Swanepoel was not there to intervene to make sure that there is a stability between the two areas.
Councillor Lau, again, I would like you to just share your experience when the service delivery protest happens along the road, that is that Youthneck Road. We used to call it Youthneck Road. What is your experience of service delivery that is taking place at Bayland, and how does it affect your ward?
Obviously, but Percy, there is a huge impact. And I must tell you that I'm the first person to be phoned all over by security, by police, because there is that understanding that Bayland falls to Ward 41, because
when the road
it's the closest ward.
When the road is blocked and yet people are throwing stones in cars.
Obviously, it impacts because one, we cannot get access to health facilities, even from the clinic inside Slovo. Remember, Bay West doesn't have a health facility. They are being helped by the clinic from Ward 41. And now the staff cannot even go to go and help Bayland by that time. Remember, there is violence and no one can just go and help people there. So it affects both, and mainly from my ward, because I remember there are projects running, that there are materials that needs to be delivered. So obviously, if you close R75, it made a huge impact. There's businesses around, you have a shopping mall, and there are cars and trucks running up and down. Because remember, it's not only R75, it also affects the what you call
A Red House.
a Red House Road. So it is a huge impact, and people cannot get access to go to their work. Yeah, because it's those only two areas to go to Port Elizabeth, and really it is, you see, and yet by that time you can't even get the ward council.
Mr. Mdini, so just before we run out of time, how do you feel now that your item forms part of the council that will take place tomorrow?
Good Bessie, I don't want to lie to you. I'm just in between, because I'm 100% sure, and I know that they said that they're gonna share it, they're gonna talk about this thing, they're gonna try to resolve this problem. But when it comes, they are there. Maybe the things can be changed. So we can't say we are 100% sure they're gonna deal with this thing.
Because the reason why I'm asking this question, in the previous council meeting, your item, especially the one that deals with electricity, is that so?
Yes.
It was supposed to be discussed in the last council meeting. That didn't happen.
True.
So tomorrow, it forms part of the council meeting. And yet, when that item was never discussed in the council, in the previous council meeting, you decided to protest.
Yes.
And blockaded the roads. You throw stones on the up-and-coming motor cars on R75. And on the other side, that is the Red House Road. Is that so?
That is wrong.
Who attended you after you decided to protest
I think
2 weeks ago?
the first one is coming to us. It was Uzanele.
Who is Zanel?
Zanele is the one that is responsible for electricity.
Okay.
And then after they came to us and they said, no, we don't gonna say anything to you. We don't want you. We want Umeya. The one's gonna give us a right answer on the right direction.
Did the mayor come?
No, we received a call from the mayor. He said that he is on the way to East London. So he make the arrangement for tomorrow, like the following day at 8 o'clock to his office. We went there at 8 o'clock to his office. All EDs was there.
Yes.
And then they tried to resolve the problem, because we have, don't forget
What
that
did they do?
they promised us that they give us only 2 weeks. Then after 2 weeks, we're gonna see the changes. That
Did they fulfill their promises?
yes.
What
yes.
happened?
If you can go now to Bayland, you can see that there is roads. They are busy. 2 roads. The second one, there is electricity. They are busy with electricity now,
Okay.
as we are talking. But the third one that we have a serious problem, this thing of toilets, we have a problem for that. We did speak to Mayor on yesterday about this problem of toilets, because they give us a temporal company that they're gonna be there only for 3 days, and then after 3 days we're gonna get the right one. Usually work there in Bayland.
So
we are still
currently,
waiting.
So currently, what is happening?
Nothing happening in terms of the toilet, but only 2 burning
Do you have any toilets?
We have toilets.
What
but
form of toilets do you have?
It's a temporal toilets. They don't save our toilets like proper. We talk about the bucket system here.
So we are using buckets
Yes.
currently.
So they don't save us proper. Yes, they save us.
So
but
in this council meeting that is going to sit tomorrow, what more do you want?
we want to see, not to talk. It's easy to talk. It's difficult to do. As we see that they are busy, we want to see that this project is going till the end.
What toilet? What project?
The electricity. Because Professor, if you remember, this project starting on
You
January.
want commitment from them.
Yes. In black and white, like to see
Okay.
it in black and white.
Yep.
No, I just want to sponsor something, Percy. Now that Councillor Odendal has alluded on the motion, it doesn't take only motion for service delivery in a ward. It takes councillor to enter. Hence, you have IDP participations. You go to your community, people talk, you engage, and you do submissions. And you've been called as councillors to go and do submissions as per the community
We've
demand.
got 30 seconds, Councillor Lau. Lastly, are you going to attend tomorrow's council meeting?
Yes.
Okay. We'll see you there. Thank you very much for making time.
Siyabonga, Professor.
Nkosi kakhulu nakuwe.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Keep on
Percy.
assisting them if they need help.
Definitely, I will do.
Siyabulele, Nkosi kakhulu.
Nkosi kakhulu, siyabulela, Professor.
After the outbreak, the executive mayor of Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality, Councillor Retief Odendal. Sinamkele kwakho kwi-inkqubo yethu i-VOB. Just before we start our segment with the executive mayor, I would just like to make a public apology by calling executive mayor Councillor Gary van Niekerk as Councillor Retief Odendal. Apologies and good evening, executive mayor. Yeah.
These things happen. It's live TV.
Oh, yes. Welcome, Executive Mayor. Our focus tonight, it's around Ward 52. I understand that your name also feature in what is happening in that Ward 52. Just briefly explain to us your involvement as an Executive Mayor in that ward, that is Ward 52.
Look, the ward forms part of. Good evening, first of all, Percy.
Thank you, Executive
The
Mayor.
name is Councillor Gary van Niekerk.
Yes.
Thanks for the apology. Like I said, it's nothing huge. But yes, my involvement is that I've always had a close relationship with the people of Bayland. The first time I went there was at the beginning of the year. And I've been there, I think I've met them like 3 or 4 times in the last couple of weeks after the latest protest action. I was privy to hear that Councillor Odendal say that he was there 2 weeks ago, and when he asked him again when was the last time he spoke to them, he also said it was 2 weeks ago. So we never went back there to report back to the community, and that's what he does. He does publicity stunts. He goes there, he wants to come across as the savior, but the one thing he never does is the same with his 100-day plan. He doesn't report back. He doesn't hold himself accountable. Unfortunately, on the day of the protest, I was out of town, as one of the leaders said now of the community said that I was out of town. Yes, I was out of town, but I immediately committed that I'll be there the following day to come and listen to the issues of Bayland. And what I did was I convened all the relevant EDs, and we sat and we had a meeting, and we had a very constructive engagement. And I'm not going to brag about what we're doing. We do what we're supposed to do, and that's provide services to the people. We might not have the budget that's required to do it as brilliant as we should as a first world country. We're not a first world country. We do have limited resources, but we can do something at least. And that is what I've done in the last couple of weeks, engaging the community and constantly going back to find out, are you still happy? Are you still happy? And as they've said now rightly, that they're not happy with the toilet situation. The leader couldn't express himself so well, but I can tell you exactly what the problem is that the problem is that the trucks cannot go into the narrow road. So where they can't go in by the narrow roads, they skip those houses, and those are the people that come knocking on the leaders' doors to say that, but there's no service. So that's something that we need to look at as the municipality to make sure that the service providers are indeed the correct service providers, and they explain to us, they were pains to explain to us that there are other service providers who actually come there
and they actually go knocking on doors to help people and take out their waste. They also explained to us that, that the same service provider actually employed some people from the community, and that's brilliant. That's exactly what we want in terms of the triple P, the public private participation. So our relationship is, I've got an open door policy with them. They have my number. They call me the minute there's an issue in Bayland. They contact me. We have this thing where we say, do not go to the streets. And what we're actually talking about right now is that we want to be a pilot for the rest of the metro and also for the rest of the country, where we sign an MOU between ourselves and the community of Bayland to say that should there be any unhappiness about any kind of service delivery not being, services not being delivered at Bayland, contact me, allow us to interact. There'll be a certain time given, like we've done now with the 2 weeks, and then the community can come back and say,
When you make your visit at Bayland, do you have any company from their ward council?
no, I've never had the company of the ward councillor. Look, the things that I've heard while listening to the interview of the previous speaker, the councillor of the neighbouring ward, it's sad to hear that him wanting to help this councillor and, for example, asking for boxes of paper, reams of paper, because he is servicing the residents of that ward. What's 3 boxes of paper? Let us as different wards, ward councillors, work together, because in the end, what are we trying to do? We're trying to provide services to our communities. And to hear something as shocking as he might be killed, I go there with the one car that I have, and I go there and I meet the leaders of the community. Nobody wants to kill you. I heard the council alluding to the fact just because the people are black, they are murderers. No. There's nobody ever got murdered. None of us were ever threatened at Bayland. So I don't know where that comes from, and that leaves a bad taste in the mouth. And I hear Councillor Odendaal saying that take him to task, but I know if you go back over the last 10, 20 years, the only councillors they took action against was those turncoat councillors that voted against the DA when they were councillors. They never ever take action against their own councillors.
Now that the office of the Speaker also forms part of the councillors at large, are there any ways maybe of reprimanding the councillor in such a behavior?
The way the system is designed, Percy, the ward councillors, to replace a ward councillor or to reprimand a ward councillor, there's very little you can do. You depend on the party of that councillor to do the right thing. Like the previous councillor, Councillor Lau that spoke, that's doing the right thing. Go out and assist. Even he said that he knows those people are not from his ward, yet he still helps them. That is what you want from a responsible councillor. Here you have a councillor of a ward saying, go to the police station, then you come to making it difficult for these people. Those kind of things should be addressed immediately and publicly as well. Go there, have a public meeting, show the people you're being transparent, and you're holding your councillor to account. That is what the kind of things that the communities are yearning for, where we hold our ward councillors to account.
So their motion will form part of the agenda in your council meeting tomorrow. What sort of influence are you going to make as an executive mayor in this item?
Yes, Percy.
That has to do with the Bayland.
Look, maybe we must go back a little bit further.
Okay.
I don't like, it's easy to tell the truth. The truth remains the truth. There was some kind of agreement signed on the 2nd of February with Councillor Odendaal mentioned it with electricity, 3.5 million rand, and there were only X amount of poles, 500 poles, I think, and he made the sum of about 700 rand per pole and all of that. I inquired about that already. I spoke to the ED of electricity. and this is me again, not trying to run away from it, and not trying to. The last thing I do when it comes to service delivery, I don't politic when it comes to service delivery. There was equipment bought. Yes, he's correct. Only the 500 poles were erected, but the rest of the stock, if he spoke to the ED of that department, they would have told him that the rest of the stock is readily available in the warehouse. But why hasn't the job continued? Now, all you had to do was speak to the ED. That ED has told me that the reason why they didn't continue with the work is because the contract came to an end. My follow-up question to the ED was, but if the contract came to an end at the end of June, July, whenever it was, why does it take so long for them to continue the job? He says because of the tedious task of it going to the BAC. From the BAC, it has to go to the internal audit. From internal audit, it has to go back to the a city manager. From the city manager, an order needs to be created again. So all these things take time, and that is why I'm one of those. I said it today in my one of my meetings that we need to go to other cities to see what is the best practice when it comes to supply chain management. Our supply chain management does not favor service delivery. I need to go out there and find out which city has the best SEM policy and implement it in the city. The SEM, supply chain management, is what strangles us in terms of service delivery at the moment. But then again, as much as what we say SEM is strangling us, then you have these councillors like Councillor Swanepoel, who is hell-bent on not rendering any services to the community. But I also want to thank Councillor Lau for doing his bit for helping people that's not even from his ward.
Any items tomorrow that will be directed to you?
I'm not aware of it. I know there's always, if you look at how the council operates, you can have motions of exigency, say, remove the mayor, remove the mayor. And you've seen how Councillor Orendaal carries on here, screaming and shouting. I like the way, if you compare the two councillors, I can't believe that. They say, I said it last week in council, at the last council meeting, the loudest in the room is normally the weakest in the room. But I always want to tell Councillor Orendaal,
thank you very much.
Don't raise your voice. Raise your argument, man. We don't have to sit and scream at one another. I'm sitting less than 2 meters away from you. Speak to me like a civil person.
Thank you very much, Executive Mayor.
You're most welcome.
Gary van der Kerk.
Thank you. Got the name right.
Executive Mayor Gary van der Kerk of Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality. Next week, I will be hosting my last show for 2023. I am hoping I will be hosting the Executive Mayor next week and reflecting to what has happened in this municipality. And also, Executive Mayor, you must prepare your Christmas and the New Year's message for the people of Nelson Mandela Bay.
I appreciate that's an opportunity. That
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Adios. Kola khabini kobuye sifikelele isiphili ngesibuye sibonane kwiveki ezayo. Bye bye.